2 minutes. I was like, I'm not gonna let you write another sentence. I'm like, okay, I'm
It's the person sitting in this chair. I've noticed a lot of
someone was in control of that, and they were just getting back at the right time. Like this video, that's like awesome. Yeah. What is favorite holiday?
Oh yeah, that's what it does. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's called
Yeah, I know.
the thing is like
I got it on my
I'm sorry, I know it's there's like it just totally like passes my mind because it's like in a weird spot. What is this like chicken? Like something.
meeting to order. Where's your roll call?
Yeah.
Senator Bundy?
Here.
Senator Cloutier? Here. Senator Cody? Here. Senator DeJesus?
Here.
Senator Jokiso?
Oh, here.
Senator Goyette? Senator Hunt?
Present.
Senator Mank? Here. Senator Powers?
Here.
Senator Sayer?
Here.
Senator Van Zandt? Here. Chairperson Barrett Miller? Here. Chairperson Marshall? Here. Chairperson Peralt?
Present.
Chairperson Stichter? Here. Secretary Heaney? Here. Vice President Riley?
Present.
And President Outward.
Present. All right. Hello, everyone. We are almost at Thanksgiving break. Just a couple more days of school and then our first break, and then we're almost there. All right. So starting out with acceptance of minutes, a motion to accept the minutes from the 11/7/2023 meeting.
Second.
Are there any additions, deletions, or revisions? All right. Hearing nothing, we'll move to a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. All right, moving to new and existing business. We will start. Thank you for closing that. We will move to dining hall concerns and updates. So I will pass the floor. Was it you who got this? Yes, I'll pass the floor to chairperson to discuss this topic.
Yeah, so I have a few questions mainly for Melissa. Just being some updates on the dish belt and what kind of like the situation is, and then I've been hearing a rumor that our dishwashers were let go due to this, so I just wanted to ask you about that and get some clarification on it.
So it's not the belt, I'll start there. It's the whole motor of the dish machine. They thought it was one of the inside belts when it first started. Easy fix, they came out, replaced the belts. When they went to go open up the motor, it, found out that that was no good. They ordered a new motor, the leeway changed on what it could. Dave's team came out, had them come out, rip out the existing motor. It's on its way overnight to Chicago to be rebuilt right now. So we're hoping by the end of the week, this will all, be everything falls in place. Maybe we'll get back from Thanksgiving, but in a week we'll have our dishes back. We know it's been a stressful time for everybody, and we've been trying to follow every avenue we could. We do have a second dishwasher that's on the third floor. It's not built to keep up with the amount of volume we do. So, being able to run the bowls, we at least have soups or the dishes to, help for us to be able to provide a service. As soon as I hear more on the updates, I got your email, I'll email you like, hey, it's in, hey, it's not, just so you know where we are with, parts getting over to us. Dishwashers are all still there. Right now, part of my announcement, we have some more student workers, especially this week. It's Denali, I want to say correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong, someone. So a lot of them do take time away to go celebrate and pray and all that. So you may see us managers hopping in or more students. It's because they requested the time away to celebrate their beliefs.
The floor remains open if anyone has any questions or comments about the dining hall. I did send a list of names for the food service committee, so that will be up and running soon to kind of have these conversations and more of the specifics about the dining hall. But again, if you ever have any questions or concerns, reach out to myself or Melissa, and we'll get those out. So, all right, last call for questions or comments. Yes.
Sorry, being like new, we're not sure if this is in the same like if you're responsible for the first floor of the dining hall and who's in charge of like running that. But recently we have seen like posts and heard comments about people being upset with like burgers and fries, like inconsistency of fries and like the portions of it. So just that was just a concern that
Is that on the air marks?
Yes, and I'm not sure if most, Lisa, who's been here for years, she definitely oversees it as a retail manager, and I'll bring this to her attention to find out, what's going on. This is the first I'm hearing of it, so I do appreciate it.
Because I think it was before it was fine, but recently they're like, hey, I'm hungry.
Yeah, we can look into what's happening with the portions.
Senator Powers, could you gather more information and just send that over? And
Yes,
then,
of course.
Yeah, the food service committee look into that. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, the floor does remain open for questions or comments about the dining hall. All right, we'll move to the next topic. All right, moving to late night dining options discussion. So I have heard a few concerns, and this has kind of been a prolonged discussion that I've heard in the past about late night dining options. And I don't know if anyone here knows anything about this, but we can even ask finance and admin about the status of the food court and the HLC, what the plan with that is. But I know a lot of athletes, if they have late practices, they're not necessarily happy with the food options late at night, because if they go to burgers and fries, something like that, it's like greasier food and options. So I want to open the floor if anyone's heard any concerns about late night options or just anything specifics in regard to that. Yes,
So I've definitely heard concerns. Currently right now I know where I guess the late night option in the campus center was. They've been doing Domino's every night. But I also have heard that that's not enough. Within the hour that the Domino's is sitting there, it all gets taken. And not everyone can get there for that Domino's, or it's just a matter of it's unfair. Like we had to have meal swipes for the campus center when that was open, and now it's just a free for all for people. So people are taking more advantage of it when it is out in there. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I can speak to that. We'll go back to behind the grill. I know Domino's the students to get their names out there since the start of the school year, so we did partner with them. I know that they were providing, free food for all the students during this time to get them engaged, to get them over to that center, and then we transitioned to being open. So we're trying to work with Domino's and get their name out there, and they wanted to do as the owner's son does go to school here, so he really wanted to help support the whole community and, do something nice for everyone.
And then, do they ever open that late night dining thing in the campus center, or is that always closed?
That was closed during the free promotion, but he's done
Okay.
doing them this week or right when we return, so that will be going back online. A discussion that I would like to just throw out to the group kind of early, because we were talking about this summer, but making changes when no one's here is never right, is looking at the options, because the usage that we've seen people using over here in the past, like maybe 1 or 2 students actually using the late night program, is we have that beautiful building, tons of options, a lot more variety. You know, what would be the consensus of, instead of having it over here, keeping it burgers and fries, and you have the grab and go, the sushi, you know, you're able to use the meal exchange over there, just, you know, extending the hours over there instead of over here. I just wanted to
Anyone have any thoughts on that?
You know,
Oh, yes, Secretary.
I don't think a lot of people even know that like late night exists or if it's consistent. I know that I've been like on campus before late in the evening and like just out of curiosity gone to look and there's like nothing there and it's like a Friday night. So the consistency I think is a big concern and students wouldn't know necessarily if it was open or closed. So the idea of like consistently being able to go to the bottom that you see and have that as an option just later, I think would be great. I've heard from, I think it was like the like Snapchat, like the school Snapchat, people complain about not having food after practice and like later in the evening as well after studying because it closed. I don't know what time does study hall close?
Depends on the
8 p.m.
or 7 p.m.
or 7 p.m. As well as like concerns about weekends with breakfast availability not being available till like 10 is that the time? Yeah. So
and we, over a month ago, started opening Saturday mornings in retail. That went through working with athletics and seeing the need more on Saturdays than it was Sundays. So that's been about 5 or 6 weeks now that the retail is open at 7 a.m. till 10. It shuts down because then residential opens at 10. And I've been working with Jen Collins with athletics, working with the schedules, and what I've been told is they're letting them out in enough time either before or after to get dinner, but that's something that's always going to be an ongoing conversation of how we can improve on that.
Thank you. Senator Mangus, their hand.
I just agree that I do think, especially with renovations happening in this building, they'll be keeping that downstairs area. I know they're talking about getting rid of like all the kitchen things. So having it just in the dining hall for convenience wise and just for steps so students know already and just extending the hours of burgers and fries. I do also know as far as like the athlete side, I have advisees for athletes who like actively choose to take a long time before they go get dinner and then complain that like it's not open. So I think that's also part of it is if they go get burgers and fries and then go back to their dorm and like shower, that would save time. Where like my advisees are like, no, why would I do that? So like keeping that in mind too is it's not necessarily like there's other things that can be taken.
Thank you. Senator.
Technically, the dining hall and the pods open till 10 o'clock, but I think that the University Commons building locks at 9. So, like, students aren't able to actually get in to University Commons. So, like, I know I was able to swipe in because I saw my OGL access turned on my ID, but, like, other students, like, Burgers and Fries is open till 10, but they weren't able to get into the building unless they knocked on the window to let another student and let them in. I don't know if that's
So people
still.
try just get in.
Yeah, like they can't get in,
Interesting.
or they don't know that they can scan in.
Yeah.
So I know that was a problem last year. I don't know if it's still a problem because I live in an apartment, but I know that was a problem last year where students couldn't even get into the building because the doors were locked.
How about look into Senator Mankin and Senator Hunt?
Off that, I know I did have an issue with that last year, but I've been there late this year and have had no problem with it getting in and out of the building. So I think that may have also just been a fluke last year with like scanning in and out on like the public safety side and things like that.
So we'll follow up and just double check.
yeah.
Senator Hunt.
To follow up on that, I think there have been a couple times this semester I've had troubles getting in. It was like past 9, and I had to like knock on the door to see if someone's in there to see if they can let me in.
Great. Thank you. Anything else for this topic? Yes, Chairperson Wilson.
I was also wondering, I know a lot of students like the grab and go options. I feel like the salads and everything are always really popular. But then like towards like a little after dinner time, there's usually not anything left. So I don't know if it's possible to have someone restock because people do really like them. But I think by the time they get to a time where they need the grab and go option, they're just all sold out for the day.
We can, you know, up what we get or make sure that they're more regimented on their stocking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on this topic? Yes, Senator Cody.
It's related to dining, but not necessarily the late night. I'm just curious if you can give us a rundown of what it looks like for Thanksgiving week, just for some residential students who are still going to be on campus.
So Thanksgiving week, we'll start with Tuesday, and I'll send it to Sean too, and you can just get it, because I'm going off the top of my head. Tuesday, retail and Starbucks and Barristan closes at like 2 o'clock. Residential dining stays open till 8 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we close. All locations are closed. And then on Sunday, everything opens for brunch and residential. And then Monday, everything's back to normal. And I'll send it over. I have everything. So you don't have to break it down.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions or comments on this topic? All right, we'll move on to registration discussion. So I don't have anything specific, I haven't heard anything specific, but I do want to open the floor to any questions, comments, or concerns about the registration process, because last week, I think all groups were had their registration time. So Senator Clancy, and then Vice President.
There was so like whenever students were registering for classes, self-service had a consistency of actually going down at some points during the registration, just because everyone is logging in at the same time while registering, and it could actually affect the system.
Could we ask Scott, would you have any intel on that?
So yeah, we experienced a couple significant login activities or usage activities, which turned the system into a very slow, latent system for a period of maybe 20 minutes, it looked like. But it spiked in the morning, so it was like in the morning that we usually see it in between classes. So we made a couple adjustments quickly in the days that followed. Some of the short-term adjustments were like increasing the network cards, the network interface cards to have a higher capacity. And we're planning now for longer term at this point. We also consulted a couple hours with the vendor. So the system sits on a cluster of computers, and the cluster of computers was basically, it was at capacity. It didn't come down, but it was at capacity, so it had a couple timeouts, or it would time out during that time. And we discussed with the vendor what the options are to increase capacity. So we saw, I think, more students log in a period of time than we've ever seen.
Really?
So, which is good and bad. But there was also an outage. I just want to dispel any of. There was an outage the first night of advising, and that was due to fiscal year closing. So the Board of Trustees basically approves fiscal year closing, and we're obligated to close the books immediately after the Board of Trustees approves that the fiscal year 23 could be closed. So we took it down purposefully the night of Monday night, which was the first day of advising. So that was a planned outage. So people understand that. So we could close the book because it needs collections.
Okay. Thank you.
So we made some short-term adjustments, and we're looking at longer term.
Thank you. Vice President.
So there were some concerns with some of the history courses. So there's supposed to be like usually like a section or two that's blocked off specifically for history majors. I work with like history students for my advising group. They were not physically able to like register for the courses because they were already on a wait list because of upperclassmen already having access to those specific sections beforehand. The situation was corrected, but this doesn't usually happen with history courses. I know it's usually like, specifically blocked off so that they usually cannot allow like upperclassmen to do it. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, but just felt like that doesn't happen for subsequent semesters because that was a big inconvenience for my advisors. I'm sure for anybody else who was trying to get into a history course.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go to Senator Cloutier and then Senator Mink.
There was also some sort of issue with signing up for an honors class that's already a regular class because of some sort of like, if you selected the 3-credit one, there wasn't enough spaces. I just know that it popped up for a while of like, cannot register for this class because of like the credit issue. And I think it was eventually resolved, but I know that made a lot of people panic because it was big red flashing letters on your screen.
All right, Senator Mank and then Chairperson.
So a big issue in the College of Business, and I know it's in our report, was the accounting classes. So for those of you who don't know, none of the freshmen took accounting 1 in the first semester because College of Business decided it was too math heavy in your first semester. So they pushed it all to the second semester. However, they're only offering 4 accounting 1 classes, I should say. And they were like, all my advisees were all set to register and everything. And then Monday, which was the day before they registered, they put up a accounting, BAME, finance only alert on them for 2 out of the 4, which, as you can all probably see, that's like a big deal. And one of them is async. And so as of right now, there's 47 students on a wait list. And like, I took half of my advisees off of it already. So I know we're going to be working with Dean Walker, but I know, Elizabeth, that is something for you as well.
That's probably going to be an ongoing issue, I think, unfortunately, due to Sugar retiring.
I know.
So probably at the very least for this semester, hopefully we will hire somebody, is what I'm hearing. I spoke with Professor Grealis about that. She's the one teaching, I believe, the 2 BAME section. So I will keep my ears peeled and let me know what happens with that.
It was just because I know she still has seats open in one of them, I believe, but because they're like my students can't even register for them because they're accounting, finance, BAME only. Like I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, accounting 1 happens to be one of those prereqs in business that like you need for classes.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Because I know that was planned a while back to be accounting and finance and BAME only, but they must have waited to put it like, in the notes of the class. So yeah, that would be good earlier. Even just 4 for that class seems like very not enough. But yeah, thank you. I saw your hand.
I don't remember if it was discussed before, but the criminal justice special topics courses, they say 1 credit, but they're all supposed to be 3 credit courses. So when you register, like sign up for the special topics, they aren't 1 credit, they will be 3 credits. And I think that was something that the department was trying to work on, but it happened for all CJ and special topics.
Thank you. Other questions or comments on this topic? All right, perfect. Now we'll move on to the Campus Center Game Room follow-up because we have a very exciting proposal from Senator Hunt. Because last week we discussed the game room and how we pay, I think it was like $5,000 a semester for the stuff in there. So we discussed potentially if there's a special Senate project we want to do, and Senator Hunt has one. So maybe.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hope your day has been great today. So last week I know we've been discussing about the whole arcade room issue regarding how we are paying $5,000 per semester for these pinball machines. And when I was thinking about it, I think we could do a lot better and make that arcade room a lot better. So part of my ideas were we were talking about modernizing technology in there. So in my proposal, I am thinking about having 2 TV setups. They're gonna have 2 consoles each in both of them. Both are going to contain Nintendo Switches. One is going to have a Series S, which it's one of the newer consoles, which I do like. And then another one, because it's our childhood, I was thinking about adding a Wii in there. And I've already did research on games that possibly having in those consoles. Another section in the arcade area too was I thought about we can also go a little retro as well. There's a good company that I know that does really good arcade cabinets, and they are known as One Up Arcade. These cabinets are only about 5 feet tall, but they're good enough to where we could fit a couple of them in there. So in my proposal, I have 3 arcade cabinets thinking about, and they're actually really good prices for them too. One of them is a 14-in-1 retro games, which includes Galaga, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, and Galaxian. But also another cabinet was that actually was recommended was Capcom versus Marvel. So I found one of those from One Up and also threw that in. And the last thing is, I think this was really cool, but it's the Atari 50th anniversary arcade cabinet, which that contains that will contain a lot of the 2600 games that were made in the early 80s, which I'm a nerd. I am a very big nerd about this, which again that will also contain like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, stuff that was made in the retro. And then this part, I thought this was a really cool idea. Actually, Vice President Riley gave me this idea, and I think this was really cool. But having one area as a play area to have a VR section of the area, which that would contain. So far, I have 2 games on here. I was thinking one would be Beat Saber, because Beat Saber is a very popular game amongst the VR AR club. And then I actually do have a list right here. And another one I thought of, which again, it's one player, is FNAF Help Wanted, just because the movie did come out. I actually gave.
Scary.
I got the little horror game there. People do like horror games. So for the Switch games, I actually did make a list. All these are going to be digital, so they will be imported straight to the console. First one, you guys know I'm a big Mario fan, so I threw in Super Mario Wonder, because that is the brand new Mario 2D game. Mario Kart 8. So give you a little context too. They are both going to have these. Both these consoles are going to have these, so you have good options. So Mario Kart 8, and I was also thinking about throwing in the booster pass with it, just so we have access to all the tracks, because they just released their last of the tracks, which we'll have access to all the Rainbow Roads. Of course, if we want to have a little active, I also threw in Nintendo Switch Sports, which that's like part of the sports series. Super Smash Brothers is always a popular one. And the last thing I threw in on here was on this paper is Super Mario Party Superstars, because that contains the original Mario parties. I also threw in the idea of possibly having Just Dance as an option as well.
Oh, yeah. I heard nonstop about
Yeah, I know, because I know Just Dance is very
Everyone's-
popular. For Xbox One games, this was really hard, because the problem with a lot of the games that are being made now is there's really hard not to find a split screen. But of course, we had to go with the classics, and I already added Minecraft on there. And then this was a cool pixelated game I have. It's called it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This game's actually really cool because it's based off of the some of the classics of like, it's a 4-player game, but it's like pixelated, and you're like the turtles, or you could be Casey, or it could be April, and you're just basically fighting guys along the way. And then the last thing I threw on here was Street Fighter 6 for the Xbox One. Just because that's also digital, and we can get that digitally instead of actually going through a game. Because also the problem with the S2 is it is digital only. There is no disc area. And then for Wii games, people are gonna get mad at me if I didn't add this, but I added Wii Sports already on here. Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Mario Bros. Wii. And then this one was really fun because I know Mario Party 8 is a big one, but I also had this game, which it's around Mario Party, but had a lot of different modes. It's called Wii Party.
Mhm, yeah.
So Wii Party, to give you context, for those who don't know, Wii Party is it's basically Mario Party, but it's with your knees.
For just like 5,000
yeah.
different reasons.
Bro, honestly. Well, the thing too is with the Wii, I like though too is that they made different. They actually made guest systems, so you can just play straight with guests. And then the last thing I threw on the cabinets was a pinball machine that we're gonna be saving so much money. And then I gave Kevin a choice, and he was like, "Why would you even ask me this?" It's Star Wars pinball. He was like, "Why did you ask me this?" I do have pictures. If you guys want to, if I could I'll pass that around.
I have a question. Is it cabinets, like traditional decorated cabinets you're talking about?
Yeah. So like they're actually in the pictures too. Unfortunately, they're black and white because we don't have color printers right now in the library.
What kind of cabinets that would? Are they
So,
on the
like,
arcade?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the
like
structural
so the
sheet?
arcades they're called cabinets.
Okay.
So it's
Are they-
basically the box.
Oh,
but
okay,
they're,
okay.
They're called
okay,
arcade
okay,
cabinets.
I wanted to clarify that just because what I like about this proposal is that they do want to do like say structural work in that area or something. At least these are things that move around. But I see your hand, so I'll pass it over.
So I was looking at Monkey Ball because I love Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
rolls and it goes into.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
You
about.
can do that on Soul. Okay, so this is freaking awesome, because I've been asking, why are we spending this money on these machines when we haven't evaluated students like them, right? So this is freaking fantastic, and by the reactions to people in the room, you have like nailed this proposal in such a good way. What I would ask you to do is if Sean, if Student Senate could designate a group of students to work with me on, like we did for commencement, right? Where I can meet with a group of students who can put all these interests in priority. And then we meet with Basil and Scott and Dave. And we do the first floor in a comprehensive way, right? Because we know we need an esports varsity room. We'd like to get started on that soon. We know we've been saying this, we want recreational playstations for people, which you've described. And now you've given us a whole new phase in funding for that, which is fantastic. And if we move the commuter lounge, we need a new space for the commuter lounge. Not determined we need to move the commuter lounge yet, because another proposal is to possibly put the esports where the post mailboxes are, because my understanding is the mailboxes are probably going. But before here's the really good news. President Johnson today put the fear of God into everybody on the management council. I kid you not. So picture 35 people in a room, and he went off on one of his, you've seen President Johnson do one of his, like, okay, let me be clear. There is nothing that happens on this campus that affects students that Christine is not told about before it starts, and she does not give an opportunity to work with students to give complete feedback and agree. And not 2 days before you're doing it, like the second you think of an idea, you meet with Christine and she facilitates relationship with the student governance and with students. There will not be a move made in Rivers. There will not be a move in this building made without us engaging in a process based on interests, prioritization, and expression of what we want, and negotiation with the other people around their interests, just like we did with commencement. Look how great that worked out. Ta-da! I mean, so anyway, I just wanted you to know that's what the meeting was today, and I hope he's on this group.
Yes,
We're like, and I do think, to keep me honest, I do think, Sean, Elizabeth and I were trying to talk about this just in a passing. You might want to designate an exec board member to work with us, to communicate with the exec board and the students. I'll let you decide the governance, but I need a group of students to work with me fast on all of these issues on that downstairs.
Definitely, because I know we talked about it last week and we had students with really strong opinions. So yes, I'll send something out. If you're interested, let me know and then we'll get that moving ASAP. I love the idea. Yes, Scott, it's your hand.
I just want to reiterate, I was in a meeting today with Christine and President Johnson, putting the fear of God in us. This leads to my question. So it'd be really great to play a game of Pac-Man after that.
Team Pac-Man.
Is that going to be available for staff? Go back to the 80s.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No,
Pac-Man team,
I
I
have,
might donate that.
I have a ton of 80s consoles, so.
I'm sure Dave will be in.
And then I'm gonna add one more thing on here. Actually, a couple more things on here. I also thought about throwing a couch in there as well, because we do need more comfy seats, and also possibly throwing a coffee table in there so you can actually play board games in the game room. So it makes it more engaging. And one more thing, and I'm surprised this hasn't. I was thinking about a new name for the arcade room, and my proposal was calling it Spirits Arcade to have a Flint's Arcade theme.
Ooh, I love that. So yeah, definitely next step moving forward. So for that proposal, you'll work with the committee we create, and then this will go to the finance committee, and then go. I love the idea. So I saw hands. We'll go. Senator Powers, Secretary, and I saw another hand on there. Senator Cloutier, and that'll be the end of the conversation.
I just have two quick questions for you. I might have just missed it, but with the game room, and we're thinking the whole campus center, like, where exactly was the plan for this, or is that something we're still figuring out? Because I was like, I hear a lot of these beautiful ideas. So I'm like, just picturing like Wii Sports, just something getting whacked in the face.
No, so actually, I kind of feel like where we can put them in the areas. We're thinking of like that big back room area of the arcade area. That's where we're probably gonna throw the consoles. So you do have the space to where you can actually like have the room around. So it's not gonna be in a cluster area. The arcade's gonna be in that middle area, like where the pinball machines are right now. That's where they're gonna be. And then we're gonna throw that VR playing space actually in the that front area, so they have the space to where they can play VR.
Yeah, makes, because I was like, obviously it can't all be where the pinball machines are.
Yeah.
And another thing, this might just be an idea to like throw out there, because this is where my mind instantly went when we're discussing all this, but with the video games and all that stuff, it might be like a good idea to enforce some sort of time limit, because I'm assuming these lines people are going to be really interested in this, and then that's more of like a later thing. But or if someone's like, hey, been playing Mario Kart for 3 hours, let's give someone else a turn.
So,
Yeah.
so I see your point though.
Yeah.
So how that system would work with the controllers too is that they actually would have to rent them out like how they did with so it would be like a more rental out thing than anything. So I've already figured that out, so make sure they don't get stolen.
And luckily the supervisor's right, the building supervisor's right there. So
Yeah.
he's watching over it. But,
Yeah.
all right, Secretary.
That's just that we do like a little like launch party.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah, we'll have to pick the coldest day of the year. I'll go outside and then you.
We're indoors, so I mean.
All right, Senator Cloutier.
My question was about how they would get controllers and saying that it would probably be best if people like check them out and they're not just like sitting.
Yeah, no, that was like my main worry. So like the controllers, I've already like got like 4 for each with the Joy-Cons. The cool part about the Xbox controllers is they're gonna be the blue. They're gonna be like our Western New England blue.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so in which they're an easy direct connect because I connected Xbox controllers before and they're actually really easy to do. So.
All right, well, thank you so much for presenting that today. I think it's a fantastic idea. Like everybody here is really on board with this. Yes, yes. And so again, follow up. So we'll figure something out with that committee. We'll get that moving quickly because I love that idea, and then working with the finance committee, and we'll get this moving. So thank you. All right. Now moving. Is there anything else for new and existing business at this time? All right, moving to visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments?
I'm just available to answer any questions. I was out last week because I was at a conference and I was out with COVID the week before that. So I'm just here. So if there's anything on your minds that I don't know about, I'm available to either answer questions or take your feedback.
Perfect. I'll open the floor if anybody has anything. Yes, sure.
This will apply for Christine and Melissa. I was wondering if there's been any talk on if it's usually the Monday night of finals, if they're doing that late night breakfast again. I know students really like it. I think before it was funded by student involvement. I think that if it is possible, we should do that because I think it's a great way for students to connect right towards the end of the semester. And it usually gets very busy, and I think a lot of people look forward to it.
Yeah. So Beth Hill reached out. She looped Bridget in to get it going because we've done it a couple of different ways. It's been a late night breakfast on some years, and then we actually saw good satisfaction when we did a whole week of gratitude. Where I think like one day it was coffee and donuts over here for all of campus. It was pizzas and another. So we're working through which way, anyone wants to do it, and we're flexible on our end. Because late night breakfast, it's a one day, we don't cover as many students, which we have a great turnout every year. And then another half like that, we did something every day of the week. So I will loop you in if you want to be a part of that conversation from the student perspective.
What about the food service committee? What if we just, if there's
We
students
just
on
got
that?
one appointed and we're gonna start reaching out. I forget who the advisor was on it.
I don't know.
Was there,
I don't know. I guess we can talk and figure this stuff
Yeah.
out. So we have members on it now. We just need to figure that part out.
It'd be good for that group. This could be their kickoff event.
Mm.
Could be, on behalf of Student Senate, Student Life, and we will help in Aramark.
Definitely.
Great question.
The floor
Because I
remains.
was slinging those pancakes, y'all want that. I make the best pancakes.
Really? I always love that event.
I put the fruit between the pancakes and more fruit on top, sprinkle a little chocolate.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm down for doing that. if you're
actually I heard Dr. Johnson, I saw his interview with her, that it was all about his wrist motion.
Yeah, he thinks he's I'm just saying, people reach away.
All right, the floor remains open for questions or comments to Christine.
You need anything, just make sure you come to me.
Thank you. Any other visitors' comments? Last call. All right. Thank you. Moving to committee reports, starting with academic secretary.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing your feedback. If there was anything that comes to mind that you weren't able to share here, just shoot me an email and let me know.
I'll be meeting with the registrar after Thanksgiving. So there'll be some time for things to percolate a little bit. I hope to send out the survey. I hope by the end of this week. It's a really rough time in the semester for everybody, I'm sure. So working through that. But other than that, nothing much for a report.
Perfect, thank you. All right, move to finance committee. There's nothing to report this time. Move to legislative committee. Our legislative chair is not here today, but does anyone or the ranking member have anything to report for the committee?
Nothing to report.
Move to campus relations committee.
Yeah, so for the standing desk for the library, Noah and I have conflicting schedules, so Secretary Heaney and Noah, Chairperson Burrell will be meeting, and then whatever committee members can meet, they'll go forward with that. And then the pavilion is now open.
Thank you. Move to public relations committee.
This Friday we have a food drive for public safety. Just about all the slots for volunteers is all booked up, but please stop by. There's gonna be lots of photos taken. You get to see Bear. If you guys bring the non-perishables that are not expired, you get a limited edition Bear trading card. So please do stop by and donate. Like I said before, this is all going towards the Mayflower Marathon. So that'll get donated the week of Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Move to campus activities board.
So CAB is planning their programs for next semester because we have to do the budget allocation for the spring semester. So if you have any ideas, program ideas, or any just like side thing, it's like, oh my goodness, I would love to see a real life Donkey Kong. I don't know.
We will make it happen.
I think you're on good ideas already.
But if you have any of those like a little out there, like just let me know. We could try to work things out. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be going to the finance committee soon with our budget proposal and then bring it to you all. And then we are looking for a new director of membership, so hopefully we'll get one for next semester. And a comment concern thing is the Blue Man Group trip got canceled due to low interest. So this is like the second travel trip that was like canceled, and the first travel trip got rained out. So not the best of luck with the travel trips. So hopefully next semester we'll have some travel trips. In the pipeline is supposed to be Broadway. That's usually a good one. And then doing a partner probably with the ski and snowboarding to do something like that. But yeah. And then this Saturday we have a jazz dinner. If anyone's looking for dinner on Saturday, it's a New Orleans style dinner. It's sign up only. So if you have time, scan the QR code, sign up for it. It's there's gonna be a pianist there, and you could enter a raffle to get an electric guitar.
So much fun.
Yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Except Ashley. Love jazz. Thank you. Health and wellness. Senator Goyette is not here, but does anybody have anything to say on behalf of this special committee? Yes.
Okay, so I'm not on the committee. But I have been approached by the founder of a program called Sonic Connections. And the program discusses how using music can be part of your toolbox for mental health. I know our Health and Wellness Committee hasn't done any events or anything yet. And I did speak directly with the founder about this idea. And what's great about it is that they acknowledge that it's not a permanent fix. So even if they come and do the program, there's like a virtual community that any student can join, and it meets like every month or so. So it's a continuous program even after they come here. And it's not just for students who are in the arts or anything like that, it's open to any student who likes music. They've been to a lot of schools such as Brown or UConn. They're very well known and they would really love to come here. So I was going to talk with the health and wellness chairs and discuss it with them.
Perfect. Thank you. I love that idea. I think music can definitely be a great stress relief and help with burnout and stuff like that. So I think it's a really good idea. Oh yes, Secretary.
Beth Hill has like a bunch of initiatives she's doing, and one of them is Fresh Fruit Fridays. I believe this week it's grapes. So catch some grapes at the pavilion on Friday. Perfect.
I have spoken with Beth Hill and a few students she's working with about healthier vending machine options. But I'm probably going to have them speak with the food service committee or maybe come to an Senate meeting to discuss that. Thank you. All right, last thing I want to talk about committee reports. So spring event committee will be reporting in this this section. The two co-chairs for spring event this year are Chairperson Lydia Barrett Miller and Samantha Valcourt. Samantha was supposed to be here today, but I think either next week or the week after she'll come in and introduce herself, and I believe both of them will be here for these meetings. And so we'll do formal introductions once she's able to come to the meetings, or the meeting after Thanksgiving, and then they'll talk about their vision and stuff like that. But I haven't really been able to meet with them yet, so moving forward they will give their report in the committee report section of Student Senate. So congratulations, and send our best to Samantha also. All right, moving to representative reports, starting with the College of Business.
Okay, so the main thing on our report was the accounting courses, which we already discussed. Dean Walker was not available to meet yesterday, so we plan on meeting with her next week, and there's nothing else to report at this time.
Perfect, thank you. All right, move to College of Arts and Sciences.
Some exciting stuff happening that I think you guys will find interesting. Next week, a company will come to take measurements of the library basement near the TV lab for a new VR trial run lab, which I think is pretty cool. It's going to start with use from the law school, where they can use they can have kind of like an immersive courtroom experience. But Dean Davis asked that any students or professors who have an idea of how to use VR in a curriculum, sort of like a body doubling experience, that kind of thing, reach out to him because he's working very closely with President Johnson on it. Other than that, there were some concerns about students registering for Professor Mandel's classes in the spring because of absences in his classes this semester, and it's assured that he'll be back by the spring, and it's being closely monitored. Also, students looking to transfer to the law major instead of the law and society major, there is some discrepancies in the credits that you need for that class, and we've been assured that if you've taken a class that isn't required for the new law major, there'll be waivers issued if you reach out to the chair of the department, which is Don Williams, and Dean Davis. So that'll be taken care of.
So is law a new major?
So yeah, it's for the purpose of PR mostly.
Okay.
Students who see, yes, I can get a bachelor's in law instead of bachelor's in law and society. Also, there's a theory that applying to law schools, people take from all sorts of majors, but if it just says law, it's different. It's all PR really.
I see. Perfect. Thank you for letting us know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, College of Engineering.
So this is my first report, so it's pretty lengthy. I'll do my best to summarize it. So first off, I had a meeting with the dean and the assistant dean. This is basically all information from those meetings. There's a proposed concentration in aerospace for the mechanical engineering degree. They're trying to build a lab. So the reason, or one of the proposed locations for a lab that they're going to build is in Rivers, and the lab is supposed to be like a jet propulsion lab. So that'll help assist the aerospace program, the proposed concentration. Civil got rid of a concentration as well, reservoir. I don't exactly know what that is, but I was told that they got rid of it because of lack of interest. Construction management is gaining a lot of interest. I don't know if you guys have seen the lab that they just walk around surveying out in the grass, so that's them. Gaining lots of interest over there. So the space needed in the engineering department as it expands, proposed location, as Christine said, they're not going to do anything unless, we've, solidified where everyone's going to be after a possible move, but Rivers is still a proposed location for the expansion. Freshman lab used to be up on the 3rd floor of Sleeth, and they moved down to the 1st floor, so it's, easier to access for the students, and so, when people visit, they can see the lab and see how nice it is, stuff like that. With the expansion inside Sleeth, there's less space for computer labs, so they proposed a virtual desktop infrastructure, which is basically a way you can remote access certain programs on a server, so that way there's no need for a whole new computer laboratory. Like, students can use their laptops to access all the programs that they need. And there's proposed programs to help students, cover the cost of laptops in case they don't have them, or fix laptops in case they break. Grants were awarded to certain engineering groups and faculty within the engineering department, and that's being used to purchase manufacturing equipment like lathes, lathes, and there's some machine that helps manufacture ceramics, and then as well as 3D printers, stuff like that. They mentioned that community involvement is good for getting those grants, so something I propose, or something I wanted to look into more, is community outreach for the engineers, so that way they can look better in terms of the Springfield community, and hopefully thus get better grants and funding, stuff like that. That's about it.
Perfect, thank you. So questions, that aerospace concentration, would that be a major, or is that would it be a concentration in a major?
So yeah, it's a concentration in a major. I think specifically mechanical engineers could focus in that. Ian Shiragi, I think that's how you say his last name, said that he doesn't see a need to create an entire degree based on aerospace when you can really get all the core necessary classes with a concentration.
Perfect, thank you. Vice President and Secretary.
When would students be able to declare that concentration, beginning with the next academic year, or what is the dean's timeline?
I can get back to you on that. I don't know exactly. He just said it's been proposed. Okay. So they're not, I don't know if they're making motions. I know that what he did say was a lot of the faculty, or the chairs of certain departments in the engineering building, he gets 5 to 10 year plans from each of those leaders of the program, so that they'll probably have an answer. I just gotta get it. Sorry.
Thank you, Secretary.
If they have success with that virtual desktop, that could be a really good application just generally across the school, because I know that computer labs are an issue, not exclusive to the College of Engineering, and business student SAP usage, it would save me having to download it on my desktop, and all of those issues. So that may be a recommendation down the line for us.
Thank you. Scott, is your hand?
So we have a little bit to do with virtual desktop infrastructure. It's basically a way, as you said, to take computer labs and make them accessible pretty much from anywhere. So it takes your PC image in engineering, or we're working with Anil Gulati on doing the SAP lab this next semester as well. We have a presence in cybersecurity, so the new cybersecurity program is all DDI. So basically, it just offers equal and equitable access for anybody with any computer from anywhere to gain access to the desktop and the programs that we have licensed. In the past, a lot of engineering applications, for instance, have been licensed per seat. So you have 100 seats, and those were all limited to the lab. So especially when COVID hit, for instance, people would have to come in the lab, and we have to try to make available that software to them. So this basically removes it from the lab, and you can use that room for any number of things, whether, you could walk in and use it for a general purpose lab, you can walk in and use it for mechanical engineering, you can use it for SAP. So it really eliminates the need to have all these different computer labs. You just have separate rooms. So we've talked about this a great deal, and we're starting to do it. It's in pilot phases now. What it does is obviate the need for power distribution in the roads, because you have to plug in your laptop if you have your laptop, and also for ensuring that we have adequate Wi-Fi wherever that lab is as well. So we have plenty to do with facilities, but that is all things that came up from facilities master planning. We're starting to adopt that. So please give me feedback when you start using it for SAP.
Thank you. Senator Sarah.
Yeah, question for you. So I didn't ask this in the meeting. I don't know if you would have the answer, but I know for engineers, like they have to run certain programs like SolidWorks, for example. And like I know a lot of laptops can't run a heavy program like that. Is that something that VDI will be able to alleviate? Or?
That's exactly why so VDI, your SolidWorks is running back on a large server cluster.
Okay.
And you see the image of that desktop on your PC. So it's actually not using a lot of resources on your
Right. Would the response time of that be slower because of that, like interfacing or no?
Because it is a cloud, so it's actually a private cloud. It has to come over the network, so you don't have the server right underneath the desk.
Yeah.
But the processors in the machine are much more powerful than PC's processors.
Okay.
So it's bordering high performance computing. But
so then it's really just dependent on how fast your Wi-Fi is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's pretty much, I mean, you can plug in. We're putting up.
Oh, for Ethernet.
Yeah, right now we have physical machines there. We'll put like thin clients in some labs as well, which are just really not very powerful machines that they access the back end. But you won't have to have, that's what I'm saying, equal and equitable access. You can come in there with a low-grade PC or a high-end PC. You'll have the same experience as the other person.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Moving to College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. We don't have a rep for that, but does anybody have any updates for College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences? Okay. Senator at Large. None of the Senator at Larges are here today, but does anybody have any updates or anything to say on that constituency's behalf? All right. And then Athletics and Recreation, but they're also not here because of the turkey trot, it's called, or something like that. Yeah, they're not here. But anybody have anything athletic or recreation related? Yes.
I have something. I made an announcement at the turkey trot today that Jen Collins has been named the, not just acting, but the permanent director of athletics and recreation.
Could not be happier to hear that. Yeah. Congratulations to her. That's very exciting. Thank you for updating us on that. All right, does anybody have any? Oh, yes.
I was curious about the weight room issue. Do we have someone who's a non-athletic representative working on that, like a general population student who uses the gym?
Sorry, say that again.
For like the weight room transformation, do we have a student who's not currently like an athletic person?
Yeah, well, I'm working on it pretty closely, and I'm not. I'm as not athletic as they get.
Perfect, thank you.
Why? Do you think there's a need for more of a non-athletic,
like
person on the project?
A consistent user of the weight room space who is not an athletics person? Because I had some concerns about the resource allocation being primarily targeted at like helping athletics and less so like giving the general population like a mediocre experience.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Maybe what I'll do is look at appointing someone to work on this project, because I can't give it my 100, but thank you for bringing that up. That's a very good point, as you can do.
Autumn doesn't like directly make any decisions, calls, obviously, or Senator Walton, but I do know that she like shares her input because she goes to the gym like every day.
Is she a varsity athlete?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so maybe I'll have her kind of elevate up to like the more decision. But thank you for bringing that up. I'm happy you said that. All right, perfect. Anybody else have any questions or comments on? Yes.
I had already brought this up to Senator Burns' attention, but I didn't know how to really address it to Senate. A student had come to me with concern of the volleyball club and the cheerleading club having some like problem or a fight happened. Not like a physical altercation, but a yelling match at each other.
Oh wow.
And I didn't know how to, do I address it here? Do I just bring it up to Senator Burns or the other athletic recreationals?
It's good that I know that before. Yeah, I see a secretary's hand, so I imagine she has input on this.
I'm on the cheer team, so I can share my input on that. We were stunting yesterday, and a volleyball player intentionally hit their ball over because we were in their way at someone while they were stunting. And then we asked them to keep their balls on the other side of the gym because we each had half of the gym.
And then someone came over and started yelling at like our president about it and said like, well, this doesn't get mad.
Okay.
So why do you guys get mad? Or like,
So I think the best route forward is talk to student involvement and Chairperson Kaufman, because legislative would deal with these kinds of matters and stuff like that with student involvement. So yeah, I would follow up with them just to make sure if you do have a conversation about it, bringing in like all the, so everybody's voice heard. But thank you for bringing that up. You're welcome. All right, anything else in regard to athletics and recreation? All right, moving into senators' comments. I have a couple of updates I want to give really quick. So I like to give my updates for the end. Next week, the meeting is going to be online via Zoom. If any of you cannot be there, if you're traveling at that time, please let me know by Friday night. And if we don't make quorum, then we won't have a meeting. But I'd like to have one because it's important to have it. It will be on Zoom. I have a question for you all. So for the outing on December 2nd, again, I'm going to send out a form to see who's interested. But we have an option of just doing laser tag, or we could do it's laser tag and like a game room. Would you guys want to do the game room also? So it's like sorry, that was your right. That was very, very vague. Yes, thank you. It's for Sonny's place. They have like it's like arcade VR stuff like that.
Is that what you pay or is it open access? Like
It'd be open access. Yeah.
Oh, they also have that. Sorry, they also have like a thing that you can sit down and shoot. That's like,
Okay, so I just want to make sure that you guys are interested. I'll put it in the poll. I'll put it in the poll or something. But I just want to see because if you're interested, we'll do it. If not, we won't.
I like that.
And the last update I want to say, so the Bright Night Fall was this past weekend, and it went very, very well. But something that really excited me was WNE's presence in the Springfield community has grown so much in my time here as a student. And the university looked very good at this event because the university was one of the sponsors of the, I don't know if it was like the head, but they were a sponsor, and then President Johnson was the honorary chair, and we were there as volunteers. And just want to say the university looked very good in front of some very important people in Springfield, and this is important for all of us because if this university looks good, then our degree becomes more valuable outwardly, and a lot of these big business owners are going to start looking at university students hiring. But the event went very well, and I'm very excited. And it gave me a much greater and brighter future for this organization, this university, being at that event than I've seen in a while. So I just want to share that good news with you all. And then I will hold back on senators' comments. And I saw hands, so I'll hand it off. So we'll go. Also, you'll go by you, and then you. And then
This is something that I noticed. So I came into the university having to take a sociology course as part of my behavioral analysis for my criminal justice major. They got rid of sociology, and I had taken 2 sociology courses, the 101 and another course. When they took away the major, they also took away the credits of the sociology courses I took from my self-service. I've tried asking around, and I haven't gotten any answers. So I wanted to know if anyone might know, or this has happened to somebody else.
I think the chief experience officer could help you with that. I would like to know if anyone else has had that problem.
Yeah, so questions or comments applicable to this? Yep, I see your hand.
So this is kind of what I was talking about with the switch to the law degree. And I brought up, because I know other people have had concerns specifically about sociology. If you email, I believe the CJ department is Professor Williams, that's the chair, and CC Anne Marie Levati, who I think is the academic, I forget her exact title. And then if you want to CC Dean Davis as well, he kind of assured me that like those types of like small credit transfer issues would be adjusted or waived depending on a case-to-case basis.
And I may be able to make it quicker because Julie Richardson should hear about this as the registrar, because it's a good one-off. But if this is happening to multiple students who don't have access to Student Senate, we should probably do a campus message.
Yeah, it might happen to a lot of people. So yes.
So this is good. So Lydia will. Okay.
Yep. Is this an
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. For those like watching the stream and like here, Derek Feck is a lot faster responding. He's like Julie's like right hand man. FECKE Derek. He's great, and he'll work probably very closely with you to resolve it. And then, if necessary, refer you out to chairs and deans as necessary. But he's the most direct person to go to for this issue.
Anything else in regard to that topic? All right, other senators' comments? I'll take your hand.
Just a friendly reminder to check the group me. I did request that you all just take like a 15 minutes out of your busy schedules to just come and meet with me. I just want to do a check-in and make sure that you guys are all adjusted into your Senate roles and just see if you need anything from myself or from the executive board. The Calendly link that I put on there is in the group me that I can do in person or on Zoom as necessary. I have availability leading up through the week of finals week. So if you want to take that advantage of that time, please do. And I love to chat with you.
Thank you.
Have a new topic?
A new topic, okay. So we'll move on. I saw your hand, Senator Powers, and then Senator Rank.
So I recently heard about this over the weekend, and I know all of my fellow freshman friends I've spoken to didn't know about this. I don't know I know some older students don't know about this either, but I had recently learned about that. For elective credit, there are things you can do outside of campus to earn it, like if you're a member of band, Golden Voices, even if you're part of any of the stageless productions. And there's some other clubs, like I think Baja was one of them, that you like write a paper and then the faculty advisor reviews it for grading. And I think that would be something very beneficial to get out to the fellow students, because I just realized I could have gotten like 8 extra elective credits for all the work I'm doing. And I feel like it's another way to get students involved if they know I don't have to take an additional class, or I already have a saxophone, I played that in high school. I could just do band and get that credit or a couple credits, and then it will help us be more involved as a community, also allowing students to pursue their degrees. And
I have information on that.
Okay.
So, I heard that too. So I started looking into it. I met with Dean Davis, Marcus, and it's not as easy as it seems. And they're trying to solidify where you do and don't get credits and how to do it, because there were some students who complained about the fact that how come they get it and we don't. And so, Stephanie, maybe we could connect to sort of pull all this together and talk to Dean Davis about it, because I do think we have to come up with and same with Elizabeth for academic affairs, we have to come up with a consistent policy and program about this topic, because it's confusing, right? And some people get it, some don't. We gotta fix it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Good you brought that up, because I knew that was the case. So yeah, we should, once that's all figured out, we should have someone come in and talk to us about the plan. And then also it'd be good to even work with the peer advisors, because I know I don't think I've heard about it much. And then maybe they could talk to their advisors about it, and then thank you. All right, Senator Mank.
Just real quick, can you send out a calendar invite link for next week? Because personally, I'll forget.
What next week? Oh,
the meeting.
The Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like live on my calendar.
Okay, yeah. I'll send something out. I'll send an email also. All right, and then Christine, you said you had something for?
Yes, I have a faculty member who went to advise a group, a Hillel group that has, since it is no longer active. So if a student sent it, just if there are students who would be interested that you know of, if you could just spread that word, because the faculty member has reached out and said, I'd like to start, and I explained faculty can't start clubs and organizations, students can, but I did tell the faculty member, make an announcement, student senate, that if there are students who would like, there is a faculty member willing to work with them and advise. We'll try to get information out.
Thank you. Yes.
Is it a specific group or club that they're looking to start?
Yeah, so it's like a Hillel. We used to have an Office of Spiritual Life.
Okay.
So the Office of Spiritual Life would advise all different groups of organizations, Muslim students, Catholic students, evangelical, Christian, non-denominational, whatever student interest there was around spirituality and religion, we would have different clubs and organizations in that office advise. When that office, when Sheila retired, was eliminated as part of a prioritization of other types of positions on campus. We'd love to bring it back, but we just can't afford to. And the number of students that it was impacting at that time was so small that instead we sent out a survey to all students last year asking, what are your spiritual and religious needs? We got 5 people responded to it. So it really began to show that the interest in religion and spirituality on campus had declined significantly. In light of sort of things happening in the world, we're beginning to see a little bit of an increase in that. Our international students have got groups, our Muslim students have got a group, but the Hillel group has not been active for a number of years. And so the faculty reached out, but they started on the website, but it was inactive. and have said we'd like to support it. But again, that survey, we did, there wasn't an interest when we asked. So I think you as closer to the students might know if there are students looking for that type of an organization. If so, we would be happy to, bring it to Student Senate.
I think we can even advertise that there are students willing to, that they have the support of the faculty advisor. So yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right, anything else for Senator's comments? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. We adjourn. Yes. Awesome.